No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. No one ever sees me, I'm losing every battle. Can somebody save me, I'm losing every battle.
Good morning and welcome. Welcome, everyone. This is the Brand Momentum Morning Show. I'm your host, Faith James, and it is May. It's our first show in May, and with every new month comes a new book. And so this month, we are reading What You Think of Me Is None of My Business by Terry Cole Whitaker. This will be good. And such an important concept that we all get to acknowledge and recognize and get that steeped within our soul, because that's just such a freeing place. It's such a freeing place to be. So I'm excited to take you through this book and have good conversations around this. So welcome, everyone. If you are so inclined, go ahead and share, tag, invite your friends and your colleagues. This is your daily dose of vitamin I, which is your I for inspiration. We get to be in full momentum. This is May, which means June is coming, which means half of the year is already transpired. And time waits for no man, no woman, no queen, right? And so we get to understand that the epic life is now, that the transformation happens now, and there's no replay of your life. Somebody hashtag that. There is no replay of your life. My God, thank you, God. There is no replay of your life. Have you ever been to a virtual session, or you're intending that you want to learn how to do this thing, and you're interested, and then the first thing you ask the person, is there going to be a replay? Because you can't commit. You can't clear your schedule to be fully present to this thing. So we're always looking for the replay. I'll get to it later. I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll get to it next week. There is no replay of your life. Wow. Let me say good morning to the Momentum crew. Good morning, beautiful Karen. How are you? So grateful that you're here. Good morning, Stelita Cheatham. How are you, gorgeous? So grateful that you are here. Vivian, my love, good morning. How are you? Thank you for being here. Khadija, Joy, Khadija, thank you for sitting in on our Real Talk, the Raw Real session on Saturday. It was so fun. Good morning, beautiful Donna. How are you? Good to have you here. Look who's in the building. It's Dr. Sharon. Good morning, Sharon. So grateful that you are here. Yes, and thank you, Vivian. Everybody needs to hashtag this. There is no replay of your life. 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 Let us let that steep like a good cup of tea. Let us let that steep. Tomorrow is promised to no one. Here today, gone tomorrow. I was in a mastermind the other day and we were talking about the fact that life is short, but it's wide. Life is short, but it's wide. And you have a full runway in either direction that you choose to run, in either direction that you choose to go for your life. There is no replay for your life. You get to be fully present in it right now. That's why we're all about momentum. Success loves speed. Money loves momentum. And so for those of you just joining, good morning, beautiful Jacqueline. How are you? We're reading from Terry Cole Whitaker's book, What You Think of Me Is None of My Business, and share and tag and let us begin. Power. This is chapter 1. Power. You already have it. This is a book about power and how you can use it to be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and to have what you want to have in life. The unsettling fact is that though each of us is born with this power, there are often times in later life when we seem headed downhill. Our purpose of this book is to explain why this happens and why failures, both personal and material, are unnecessary and in fact unnatural. I love it. Jacqueline says she's speeding. Good morning, beautiful Mary, and thank you for joining. The power that each of us is born with is a part of God, the spiritual aspect of our being, which is perfect. This power is a creator or generator of energy that is either potential or kinetic. Potential energy is passive energy, energy that is stored, waiting to be used. Kinetic energy is active energy, energy that is being used. As active energy, this power is neutral and may be used to create sickness, loneliness, poverty, crime, or war, or good health, wealth, peace, friendship, happiness, and fulfillment. God has given what some call free will, but I prefer to call the option of choice. We have the choice to use our power positively or negatively, constructively or destructively. If that is so, you may ask, why on earth would anyone choose the negative? No one would consciously make such a choice. And that's the point. That is the point. Most of our choices are made unconsciously. The human being, 5% of decision making is conscious, rational. 95% unconscious, emotional. Remember that. So it's all subconscious patterning. This morning, shout out to all of you who are in the CEO Bootcamp. We kicked off this morning, right? We talked about interrupting the patterns. We talked about the fact that the human mind, the brain, for the most part, it's an automated computing system. It's just going, right? And it's repeating the patterns, it's repeating familiar patterns. And until you make a conscious decision to interrupt that pattern, your life is just going to continue to be on automation, on whatever you've put in. So important that we get that. It is another purpose of this book to teach you how to heighten your your self-awareness so that you can choose consciously, not just be sleepwalking, not just sleeping at the wheel. You know, when you think about when you get in your car and you drive to your office or you drive to the gym or wherever you go, you're on autopilot. You've done it so many times, like you literally could get there with your eyes closed. It's such a pattern, which is good, right? You want to be able to get to your gym with no tension, no friction, no resistance. But think about the patterns that are negative. Think about the patterns that are not serving you. that you automatically go into victim and blame, that you automatically, something doesn't happen, the world is against you. That if that's your pattern, your system, your body, your mind, your brain, the whole thing working in concert to just repeat that, oh, that didn't work out for me. They're against me. They hate me. They don't want to see me win. We get to interrupt. The mechanism by which this energy becomes implemented is our mind, our mental attitude, which in turn determine our belief systems, the way we perceive things. As the power is implemented, as our ideas take form, if you will, they become the reality in our lives, the reality of failure or the reality of success. So you could see, right, let's use the glass filled to a 16-ounce glass filled to 8 ounces. What your patterning is will determine if your first glance, if the first thing you see, you go, oh, that glass is half empty, or, oh, that glass is half full. That's an example of your patterning. What do you see immediately? What are the first things that come to your mind? Think of your mind as the mold or blueprint that determines the shape the power takes, the form in which it expresses itself. This mold or blueprint is made up of your beliefs, which, in a sense, are your memories and interpretations of very early life experiences or even prenatal existence. Unfortunately, we misinterpret many of these early experiences and bury these misinterpretations in our unconscious mind, where they become the basis for the beliefs that cause us so much trouble in our later lives. And it is not accidental that we make these interpretations, because from the moment of birth, we're surrounded by other people who are imposing their misinterpretations on us. So yesterday, my mom, my sister, and my niece, we had Sunday book club, and we're reading from the Four Agreements. And they call these misinterpretations like these hooks, right? You're a young child, you're growing up, your parents hook into you their patterns, their thoughts, their beliefs, right? So stay away from strangers. Don't talk to strangers. Strangers are bad. Everybody's out to get you. Be careful. Watch your back. Somebody's always coming to like stab you in the back. You've been hooked into that. And so you grow up believing that. So now as in a young adult, you don't trust. Adult in your business, you don't trust. You're afraid of people. You're afraid of sparking up conversations at a networking event because you don't trust. You see how that pattern of being hooked in from an early age completely impacts the way you show up? Yes, absolutely. Choices. Good morning, beautiful Rose. Thank you for joining us in the Brand Momentum Morning Show. Everybody give Rose some love. It's her first time here. Woo-hoo. So when we think about these misinterpretations, a lot of it's been put upon us, right? When you're young and you're growing up, you don't have a lot of choice, right? Your parents let you know that very well. This is my house. You're going to do what I tell you to do. You're going to eat this vegetable. You're going to drink this thing. There's not a lot of choice. And so that experience creates the pattern, starts to create the pattern. So it says they usually do so unconsciously because they too are not aware of how the power and the universe work. Because we get so caught up in trying to please these people, right? Parents, caretakers, we spend a large part of our time worrying about what they think of us. So it is that these mistaken belief systems, with all of their attendant misery, are handed down from generation to generation. Fortunately, our minds are designed so that we can change them. And it is the central purpose of this book to show us, each of us, how we can break the vicious circle of mistaken beliefs that presently go from parent to child and in turn to parent. The marvelous thing is that the universe is designed so that you can be joyful, abundant, fully self-expressed, loving, and loved. The game of life is rigged in your favor, and the power is within you to change your life. Good morning, beautiful Nicole. It has always been there, but you must learn to accept it and use it. One caution, Only you can do it. This book can show you how, but the responsibility for acceptance and implementation is totally yours. The principles are simple. For the rule of life is that ideas create forms, or put another way, that you believe that what you believe creates your reality. So if you believe everybody's out to get you, that is what you're going to create. If you believe everything's always working out for you, that is what you're going to create. So important that we get this. Simple, yes. Easy, no. Yet there are people right now who, through the application of these principles, are transcending their lives and becoming an inspiration to others seeking the way. As you look around you, notice that no two people have identical lives. Some people seem to have it all. Life goes their way. Others struggle and never seem to get their act together. Is it just luck or an act of God that disease and loneliness are dished out to some while others receive health and happiness? You may not have discovered it yet, but life is not fair, yet life is just. Your life is in your hands. The power is there. The potential is there waiting for you to direct it. Now, I'm not talking about some kind of light, positive thinking. If you don't want to settle for some relative improvements in your life, I'm asking you to settle for no less than a total transformation of your life. It is ignorance that encourages us to settle for the relative good rather than the absolute. My intention is that you will be transformed and begin to live in heaven on earth now. Right? We talked last month about your epic life starts now. As has been promised by Jesus and illumined prophets of other religions. The first truth I want you to accept is that you are already a complete person. Nothing is missing from you. Somebody hashtag, I am complete. I am complete. That's the way God made you. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. God called you good. He called you his masterpiece. Get that deep in your soul. Everything else is a lie. I caution you all the time, do not believe your lying eyes. Believe the word of God. The second truth is that you are a creative being. That is your nature, and you are always creating. You're always creating. So you're either always creating good, positive, abundance, overflow in your life, or you're always creating doom, gloom, destruction, negativity. Nothing works out for you. You're always creating. You're a creative being. The third truth is that you create from your beliefs about God, yourself, and life in general. The fourth truth is that you have made decisions about yourself, others, and life that were once conscious decisions, but have become unconscious ones, and yet continue to direct your decisions and to determine the quality of your life. So you've come into an agreement with the things that you believe. Oftentimes, they're just unconscious. Think about racism. Nobody is born a racist. They have been hooked into by the people that have been their caregivers since birth, who have schooled them in the way that this group of people are no good, and this group of people are lazy, and this group of people are going to do X, Y, and Z, whatever the impressions, the misinterpretations have been. And then they hook that young child into that way of being, and that young child comes into agreement subconsciously because of the experiences around, right? My sister and I were talking about this on the book club yesterday. When you see, I forget where was a museum she was talking about, where there was a picture of some young white children, and they were pointing, and there was a black person who was hung, lynched, and they were laughing because that was hooked into them. They've come into agreement with that subconsciously, and now that becomes a part of their way of being. The fifth truth is that the universe is totally supportive and cooperative. It says yes to your ideas, to both the good ones and the bad ones. It says yes, even to an idea that will destroy you. So no one is coming along to save you. Only you can do that. There's a story of a man who fell into a deep hole and yelled for someone to throw him a rope. When it finally became apparent to him that no rope was forthcoming, he grew tired of waiting and got out by himself. What I'm getting at is that the same power that traps you also frees you. You have the power, and you've always used it. You have no choice over that. The power flows continually and will be used no matter what. You do have a choice as to how you use the power. I love it. Yes, nothing's missing from you, Khadija. Jacqueline, nothing is missing from you. Sharon, nothing is missing from you. Donna, nothing is missing from you. Each and every one of you listening to the sound of my voice, you have everything that you need to create your epic life. You have everything that you need within you to transform. Now, not in the sweet by and by, but right now to bring your epic life into being. You have everything. Nothing's missing from you. God didn't make a mistake. He is the great creator. You are complete. Let that be your takeaway from today. Nothing is missing from me. Nothing is wrong with me. I don't need to have a different color skin. I don't need to have a different type of eye. I don't need to have different looking arm. You are complete. Your transformation depends upon conscious choices, and your conscious choices depend upon your increased awareness of yourself, upon your willingness to practice the art and skill of self-observation. Begin to stand back from yourself and observe your thoughts, beliefs, reactions to people, and observe your thoughts, reactions to people, to those who push your buttons and to those who don't. Observe the body reactions. Notice when you're tense and relaxed. These are messages from your body, and you will learn to understand them. Observe the results in your life and recognize that the physical universe does not lie. Accept that you can only reap what you sow. As you begin to observe, try to do so as a non-judgmental observer. And that's not easy, but you can be non-judgmental with practice. You'll probably notice that you're more negative than you thought. Try not to worry, but continue to observe. The other steps will be revealed when appropriate in later parts of the book. One of the biggest obstacles we create in our lives is our resistance to change. Most of us combat change from the day we are born until the day we die. Knowing that change is inevitable doesn't stop us from fighting it. My mom likes to say, the only constant in life is change. Change is going to come. It will come. It must come. It can do nothing else but come. And you don't get to resist it. You get to just weave into it and bob and weave and flow and just be in a state of allowing. You know, my tenant said they were going to be here for 5 years. Oh, they want to move. They're buying a place. Now my 5-year lease agreement, I have to rescind that. Change is coming. It's okay. Weave into it, flow into it. What's your decision-making pattern going to be? Are you going to go negative? It's like, that's why I don't want to be a landlord. That's why you can't trust these people. They don't keep their word, right? Or do you go, opportunity for me to spruce up the second bedroom, put it on the market for more? What's your way of being? What's your way of thinking? Do you see things as a problem for you, or do you see things as an opportunity for you to solve something? Beautiful Ellen. Oh, how I've missed you. Wonderful. Yes, God is always on time. Always, always on time. And I love that, Jacqueline. Always just be in allowing. Here's the book again for those of you who've come late. What you think of me is none of my business. Terry Cole Whitaker. You can take a screenshot of this. Okay. So you're going to observe yourself, but you're going to observe yourself in a non-judgmental way. So if you, let's say your neighbor, every time you see your neighbor out watering, it just annoys you. You get to observe and say, okay, I notice that every time I see my neighbor come out and watering their garden, I get annoyed. Okay, what's going on here? What specifically about this is triggering me? Why would that be triggering me? It's triggering me because we just had rain. We're in the rainy season, but yet they're still coming out and watering. So why would that trigger me? Oh, okay, because I'm thinking that they're wasting the water. And I'm thinking in lack because I remember when we were younger and the water would be cut off and it was because people weren't conserving. And then I think about the people in California who can't have water because it's right. You get to dig in and notice, not judge yourself, just say, that's curious. I'm triggered when this neighbor is watering and he's watering in his own yard. So that there's that, but I'm triggered and you dig in and you explore, right? You get to explore that. Okay, so one of the biggest obstacles we create in our lives is our resistance to change. Most of us combat change from the day we were born. Knowing that change is inevitable doesn't stop us from fighting it. We want stability everywhere, and think that's the way to security. We want all of our friends, our lovers, our jobs to remain the same. That way we think we'll be safe. In this book, you will learn that when you are at one with God, you can quit resisting the change. You will learn to accept that all expressions of God are dynamic and that consequently, various aspects of ourselves and our lives are always changing. In this book, you will learn to be change's beneficiary, not its victim. You will learn how to avoid driving yourself crazy, anticipating how you're going to handle situations before they happen. How many of us have done that? Oh, if this person says this to me, this is what I'm going to do. And if they come back with this, then this is how I'm going to do it. Let me get this thing ready here because I know just when they come with this, I'm going to go, bam, here's a receipt for you. Check that. Right? How many of us do that? Good morning, beautiful Melody. Yes. Be open. And here's a perfect example. Jacqueline says one of her tenants is a college student and her campus just opened back. So she had to cut her lease short. She turned it around and rented it in a week for $350 more. Change is your friend. Be the beneficiary of change, not its victim. So it says you'll learn when you're one with God, you can quit resisting the change because God himself is dynamic. In this book, you will learn to be change's beneficiary, not its victim. You will learn how to avoid driving yourself crazy, anticipating how you're going to handle situations before they happen. You will learn not to fear what others may think of your actions. You will learn that happiness is simply choosing and accepting what is going on in your life. For when you know that God, not others, is your source, you have the choice to move into life assertively and to work with change. You will learn to let go and allow God to support you. For many, the notion of such a relationship with God is uncomfortable. That's because many of us have been taught that God is a fearsome, angry, retributive, and revengeful. Yet all of the spiritual leaders, Jesus, Buddha, Lao, brought us the essential message of love and its power. It is difficult to imagine a loving God wanting us to be sick, poor, or unhappy. It is through our ignorance of the spiritual law of God's love that we bring the miseries of life upon ourselves. As I indicated above, we overcome this ignorance and change our mistaken belief system by developing a heightened consciousness and acute self-awareness. That's that noticing what you do, noticing your patterns. At the end of the succeeding chapters of this book, you will find self-awareness strategies and exercises. Each group of exercises is keyed to the particular problem area discussed within that chapter. These exercises are there not just for a single reading, but for a point of reference. So I recommend you guys get this as a point of reference. To which you may return repeatedly as problems arise in your life. In this way, you will be able to open your mind and allow yourself to grow, to enjoy full self-expression, love, and abundance. You will become a willing channel for the power you are born with. Elsewhere in this book, you will learn that one of the reasons our creativity often fails us is because we do not carry our ideas far enough. Somebody shared that this morning in the CEO boot camp, getting to a certain place and then stopping, getting to a certain place and then starting to believe your lying eyes. So then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I shared the idea that you're fighting for your own limitations. You see, I tell you, never works out for me. You are your own your judge, jury, advocate, attorney to say, yeah, this is why I'm a failure. See, I told you. As opposed to exuding that same energy and power to say, show me a new way. There's got to be a different way. I'm here, I'm ready, I'm open. You're not looking to defend why your life is not epic. You will find, following the self-awareness strategies and exercises in each chapter, 3 affirmations. These affirmations will help you make certain that you do carry your ideas far enough. And now I will repeat to you the warning I always give to newcomers in my seminars and my congregation. Self-awareness will be dangerous to you. You will discover that your life is in your hands and that it's God's will that you have what you want. So powerful. So powerful. Yes, Donna's like the receipt. I love it. Right, Sandra? Wow. Awareness. We get to be aware. We get to recognize the pattern. You have the power within you to create your epic, awesome, beautiful, overflowing life right now. If it's not present in your reality, it's because that is what you are causing. So we get to notice, remember, thoughts become things. What are you thinking all the time? Are you thinking hope, joy, aspiration, positive potential? Or are you thinking, this sucks, this hurts, why don't I have more money? Every time I turn around, somebody is against me. The power, remember we read from in February when we did the high performance habits, that the human body contains the equivalent of 30,000 hydrogen bombs. So just imagine that power. You have now come into agreement to say, this power, I'm going to cause more negative. Because when you're thinking all of those things, like your body is just there to serve you. So whatever you say, do, it's going to do. Remember we talked about, it's not about fair. It's about what's being just. It's about what you put in front of it, and it's just going to go. The power will bring forth the good. The power will bring forth the bad. The power is neutral. It doesn't have its own decision. The decision and the consciousness come from you. So notice your pattern. What is your way of being? Are you a complainer? Are you a victim? Do you show up in victim mode more often than you show up in full power potential mode? Are you willing to believe your lying eyes more than you're willing to believe the word of God? So let this be an opportunity as we kick off May. Let this be the opportunity for us to cause a massive shift. We're going to cause a massive shift in our ways of being. And it starts by noticing. What is my pattern? What do I tend to do? Do I see the glass as half full, or do I see the glass as half empty? Do I see a problem showing up for me as, oh, here we go again? Or do you light up when you see a problem and go, aha, now I get to sort this thing out once and for all. Now I'll know next time how to do it even better. Because when we resist the change, it's like when you have a child or a baby and you're like, I want my baby to stay exactly like this. That's not a good thing. That's called your baby is stunted. Nobody wants a stunted baby. So who wants a stunted life? Who? Anybody? Good morning, beautiful Jennifer. How are you, gorgeous? Who wants that was like, aha, exactly, light bulb. Who wants a stunted baby? You want it to stay just the same. Your baby is 15, but it looks like it's 2 months. Are you happy? Because that's what you're doing with your life. That's what you're doing with your experiences. That's what you're doing with the people around you. The people are going to come and the people are going to go. It's like the waves, high tide, low tide, right? If we're like, we want high tide all the time, that doesn't work. So be in one with it. Flow. It's coming and it's going, and you're just. It's up and it's down, and you're just. It's raining and it's sunny, and you're just. You're unshakable. You are unmoved. Paul says, none of these things move me. Because his truth, his only truth, is knowing that he cleaves to the bosom of God. And in fact, when the problems come, he's like, happy. Bring more, because then I cleave onto my God even more. And that's the place that I want to be. Your relationship with God, your belief in God, your belief in the higher truth that universal law says it's all about more life. Evidence all around us. We're not lacking evidence. The trees, the grass, the bushes, the flowers, they're showing you. Even so, we had so we're doing a whole bunch of planting. Like what started off, so this is a good example of just take the change. What started off as just putting in new mulch. That was the only thing my husband came to me. He's like, honey, I think we should change the mulch. And I'm like, really? I wasn't even noticing it. And I'm like, you're right. It is kind of like faded and not, kind of compacting around the tree. Yeah. So let's do it. Has turned into like a wholesale, like garden redo show. So the mulch, and then we're like, ooh, what about some, what did he call those? Petunias. And what about and then we have like a whole front and back. Now all of a sudden, ground cover here. So that was changed. And I looked at I was like, oh. But you just go with it because you're like, you know what? It feels good. Now we're like, ooh, let's get a new garden set out there. Let's get like a table so we can go out and have our it's now like morphed into this whole new thing. But you just be in flow with it and like, you know what, does that bring me joy? Does it make me happy? Yeah, absolutely. I want to be able to do that. And so that's what we're doing. So you think about for your own life, are you in acceptance or are you in resistance? Do you resist everything? What you resist persists. Oh, I can't stand her. Listen, her and all of her friends and all of her cousins are going to keep showing up in your life to taunt you, annoy you until you deal with why you're triggered by this thing, because there's deeper trauma within that gets to be cleared. So be aware. What's my way of being? Am I negative Nancy? Right? Good morning, Facebook user. Who is this? Let me know. Yeah, Marin, it's May. We're coming with the fire, as we always do. But think about it. Half of the year is almost gone. What have you done? Where are you with your goals? Where are you with the things that you said? Happy New Year. Resolutions 2021 for my business, personal. Let's take some stock. Exactly. That is God's way. Listen, H2O, water. In the liquid form, it's water. It's still H2O, right? Then it transforms and changes into ice. Still H2O, but now in a new form, ice. Then it goes into steam, vapor, still H2O, new. So much evidence that God is showing you, like, even though it's you can be water, you can be ice, you could be steam, you can be vapor. And that's universal dynamic, just moving, vibrating, always creating, shifting, changing, more. I've said this before. If flourishing and changing and just being like in the fullness was not the way of universal law, the peacock wouldn't exist. Like, you guys ever seen a peacock like just like show up and show out? You're like, what's all of that for? It's your evidence to show you, my love, this gets to be your way of being. You don't get to walk around like a little chicken all the time. There are many expressions of a bird. How many birds exist in the world? Why so many? What are they doing? Well, what do we need all those birds for? It's universal. It's God showing you, like, I'm a God of multiplication. I'm about change and full expression and joie de vivre and all the different things. More birds, more new birds, more fish that you've never seen, just more. What's the purpose of it all? That's your roadmap to show you that gets to be your way of being. Oh my God, Karen, I love you. I love your line. Exactly. From mulching to a full-on makeover. Now we're ordering furniture. What? That outdoor furniture. Where did this come from? But you just be in the state of being. Good morning, beautiful. How are you? Thanks for joining. Yeah, exactly. In so many different states, solid, liquid, gas, still H2O. That you get to be fully expressed. You don't just get to stay as water. God universe is showing you, you can be expressed as liquid. You can be expressed as gas. You can be expressed, right? In so many different ways, but you get to notice. Yes, be in acceptance. You get to notice, what is my way of being? Because you have the power. I wish I could, I'm going to find that from the High Performance Habits. I'm going to find the number that we have the power. I believe it's 30,000 hydrogen bombs contained within the human body. And that power is existing, and it's either passive energy or it's kinetic energy. And whatever you put in front of it around that energy is going to go. The energy is not going to say, wait a minute, Marion, this that you're doing, this kind of limited thinking here, this like not being in full potential. I'm not really sure I want to fully express that. I think let's have a conversation. The energy is just going to go where you send it. It serves at your pleasure. So if you show up every single day, everything's a problem, everybody's bugging you, everything is annoying you, your 30,000 hydrogen bomb equivalent energy is going to go in that direction. It is your loyal servant. And so we get to be aware and notice, what is my way of being? Because you have the power. And you get to be focused on God. You get to focus. Hear me say, stop believing your lying eyes. That you look around and you don't see 100,000 sitting in your bank account. You look around and you don't see 1 million in your retirement account. And you go, oh, see, that's it. I knew this thing was a scam. This Epic Life thing. I knew it was a scam. Told you it wasn't going to work. You're fighting for your own limitations. And instead of fighting for your limitations, you get to cast them out because you get to believe the truth that God says, fearfully and wonderfully made, that you were created, listen to me, just below the angels. Do you know how much power? The angels lead the army of God. Read Revelations and see those angels in action. And you, my loves, are created just below the angels. Oh, honey, power infinite. We just get to guide it in the right way. We get to guide it in a way that's going to serve us and that's going to serve humanity. If you choose to be negative Nancy and everything's a problem and you hate people and you can't, that's where your power is going to gather, and that's what it's going to catapult, and that's what it's going to bring back to you. It's a beautiful, beautiful awareness when we understand how much power we have. How much power. And I said this before, for those of you who are moms, you've gone through it, you understand. But as a woman, whether you've had a child or not, that power still exists within you to carry, bring to life a human inside of you. I'm sorry. Have you ever considered that? The power to be menstruating month after month, losing pints and pints of blood, and you're still rocking and rolling fabulous, not fainting. You're just like, I'm here for more life. Do you understand what kind of power is contained within us to be able to do that? Like, we're sleeping on this. We're sleeping on our power. So notice where you are. Hello, Patrick Livingston. Thank you for joining us in Momentum Crew. Welcome, welcome. The glass is both half full and half empty. That has met in the middle, right? It's a beautiful perspective. It's what you choose to focus on, right? It's what you choose to focus on. You've seen those, there's one that I've had on my blog for a long time where it's sort of this picture, and you look at it and it's like, do you see the old lady or do you see the young woman? It's all coming from perspective. It's all coming from your experience. So it's like, what is the truth? Is the glass really half full or is the glass really half empty? It's all in your perspective. And if you see it as half empty, and that's your leaning forward muscle where everything is not quite fully expressed, everything's just half done, half-assed, that's what you're going to create. Because let me give you those truths again, and then I'm going to wrap us. Okay, grab your journals. First truth: accept that you are already a complete person. Because a lot of us walk around feeling like we're inadequate, we're not whole, we're not enough, we're not worthy. There's a lot of this missing. There's nothing missing. Newsflash, nothing missing. So the first truth you get to accept is you are a complete person. Let that be your vocal. When I say your vocal affirmation, I mean, I want you to say it out loud. And you don't care who thinks you're crazy. Say it out loud. The second truth is that you are a creative being. That is your nature. You are always creating. You're either always creating good or bad or up or down, but you're always creating. The third is that you create from your beliefs about God, yourself, and life in general. So your belief, if you believe that God is your father and that you are his child and you are going to be expecting amazing things to happen to you because your daddy is a king, if that's what you believe, that's where you create from. You're creating from power, potential, possibility. If you believe that God is out to get you, punish you, wreck and ruin your life because you're a sinner, because you drank a little extra Merlot when you shouldn't have, and you got a little toe up from the flow up, you walking around with shame, guilt, and you're always worried, nervous, you're going to be creating from that space, right? World is out to get you. Nothing ever works out for me. Everything always goes to damn hell in the handbasket. That's where you're creating your life from. Fourth truth: you've made a decision about yourself, others, and life that were once conscious decisions, but have become unconscious ones, and yet continue to direct your decisions and determine your way of life, the quality of your life. you've made some decisions and you get to be aware of what decisions have I made? What agreements have I made? What's my belief system? This is good reflective work. What do I believe? Do I believe there's good in everyone? Or do I believe only some people can be good? Get to ask yourself these questions, because until you know where you're coming from, then you won't have an opportunity to interrupt that pattern. If you're walking around just saying like, you know what, there's not a good Black person on this earth. Let's just say if that was your thing. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe, right? And that's what's going to unconsciously start to direct your life, so that when you become the hiring manager and you have 3 candidates and 2 of them are Black and one of them is, let's say Spanish, your belief system is going to direct you into reasons why you get to hire the Spanish person as opposed to either of the 2 Black, because you just believe there's not a good Black person out there. If that is your belief system, you get to figure out and become clear on what do you believe. 5th, the universe is totally supportive and cooperative. It says yes to your ideas, to both the good ones and the bad ones. This is scriptural. The rain falls on the just and the unjust. The universe is totally supportive and cooperative. It says yes to your ideas, to both the good ones and the bad ones. It says yes, even to an idea that will destroy you, because you are the one that you have the choice. You are the one, you're in the driver's seat. You direct, you're in mission control. You are manning the station. You are pushing the buttons, right? You are deciding, are we going to DEFCON 2 or are we elevating to DEFCON 5? You are deciding that. The power is just being activated at your request. So let me hear what's landing for you. What's your takeaway? What are you going to do when we get off of this show? What are some things that you are committing to doing, knowing full well this month we're talking about, what people say about you, none of your business. Today we're talking about you've got the power within. You're complete. Everything that you need is within you. You're directing it. Tell me what's coming up for you. So Rose, my love, it's my joy, my pleasure. I'm so grateful to you for being here. We are here Monday through Friday, every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Would love to have you in. Khadijah, my love, absolutely. You always have my heart. And Khadijah says what's coming up for her is that the change starts with us. Exactly. That's such a big concept to understand. You're trying to say, oh, she just needs to change her attitude. If she would just be a little bit more amenable to hearing other people's ideas, then we would have a better time. Nope, the change starts with you. Jesus says, don't look at the log, the piece of brush that's in your friend's eyes and not notice the log that's in your own eye. We get to be fully present to ourselves. We get to turn ourselves inside out. We get to look to see, what are we doing? Because we can control only one person, ourselves. So absolutely, the change starts with us. What else is landing? What else is coming up for you? What are you committing to doing now that you've heard this training? What are you going to do with the information? Because we're not trying to raise up perfect meeting attendees. You take the most brilliant notes and then you don't do anything with them. Melody says, yes, Khadijah, we get to be the change that we want to see. Absolutely. Stay present and stay focused on the good and the positive in everything and everyone. Yes, because that's where your power is going to be. Whatever you're putting in front of it, it's just going to fuel that. It has no ability to think, to choose, to reason, to question you, ask you sure you want to think this thought right now? You sure this is the seventh day? You want to wake up and just say, oh, nothing ever works out? Really? It doesn't care. It's like, oh, here we go again. Nothing ever works out for her. Here we go. Everybody buckle up. Shh. And the power moves. I am complete. I am complete in Christ. Creativity, daughter of the King, power of prayer. I love it. Purchasing the book, self-awareness notes. Yes. Make a note and see as you go through the day, how are you being? What are you thinking? Notice yourself. Don't judge yourself. Just notice it. Because it's not saying, oh, we're going to fix anything today. Today we're in noticing, that's interesting. I noticed that when I get an email from this client, my initial reaction is, oh, what problem is she coming with now? That's interesting. Why would I continue to work with somebody that I think is a problem? What does that say about me? That I'm either coming from a place of desperation, that I'm working with people who give me agita. You get to notice, you get to dig. Do you see how I just laddered up through that whole conversation? That's what I want you to do. Yes, change is constant. Yes, and beware of the thoughts and actions and adjust accordingly. Yes, notice your way of being. We're a family called the human race. We're brothers and sisters. Love that. Yes, love that. Seek to truly activate the power I have inside of me and no longer quench it. Yes. Be focused and stay mindful of your perspective. Absolutely. And so you should come into awareness to go, you know what? Most of my thoughts are like kind of like wishy-washy, or most of my thoughts are like really negative. I never realized that, because guess what? We're on the Ferris wheel. We're on the merry-go-round. We're on the carousel. What do those rides do? They don't take you through interesting new loop, circle. I want to share this with you guys before I go. This is, let's see if I can find it quickly. That when you're on the same cycle, the same loop, it gets tiring after a while. Let's see, Damon. Right? It gets tiring after a while, and nothing good comes from being stuck. So let me share this with you, and then I'm going to wrap. Okay, let's see if I can get this. We just try just to be nice, then the world would be okay. So how crazy is that, right? See, this is what happens, right? We're on that same loop, that same cycle, oh my gosh, nothing ever works out for me. I can't say, and then you're just like, you've come undone, and you're like, oh, it's like, get off the Ferris wheel, get off the hamster wheel, get off of it, notice and shift. Say, you know what? I've been on this whole pattern of nothing works out for me for 5 years now, and I'm tired. And guess what? I'm coming off of this Ferris wheel. It's just a choice. It's just a decision. Most people go like, oh my God, how do you do? You just decide. You decide that you're done. You decide your epic life starts now, and that's it. I am whole and complete and full of power to create anything and everything and maintain that perspective and drive. Absolutely. You have power just below the angels. Remember that. You were created. There's a reason why God made sure we understood that you're created just below the angels, that he's given us dominion over animals, dominion over everything on the earth, the fish, everything. As humans, we have dominion over that. That is how powerful we are. The biggest con job we have ever done to ourselves is to diminish our awareness of our power. There is a perfect photo I want to show you. Horse. When you don't realize the power that you have. Let me see if I can find this quickly. Okay, brilliant. Okay, watch this. Okay, what do we see here? What are you seeing here, guys? What are you seeing in this picture? I want you to break it down for me. Yes. The horse thinks that he is tied up to the normal rails that he's on every time he gets tied up. Exactly. He is unaware of his freedom. He is unaware of his power. There's a reason, right, where it's called horsepower, that the measure of the speed and the velocity of an automobile is measured against the horsepower because the horse can go. This horse is blinded from its potential. The mirror, the smoke, is the film is in his way. Exactly. It's a light plastic nothing chair. You get it for what? I don't know, $5 at Walmart. Right? Not aware of his power. This is you, this is me, this is all of us. When we are unaware of our power, somebody walks up and says, "Hey, horse, what's going on?" It's like, "Oh my God, I'm tied up again. I can't move." It's just like, "Oh, I can't do anything." And the person's looking at it. This is a person who's observing your power and going, that's interesting. This plastic chair probably weighs, I don't know, 8 pounds, 5, if that. You have the power to move. You have the power to gallop. You have the power to run so hard and this thing will just crack on the way there. But not realizing the power, because the programming, absolutely, Karen, his subconscious mind has been programmed. Anytime I see my reins tethered to something, that means I can't move. He has given up his power. Are you willing to continue giving up your power? This is what we do every single day. When we say we can't, nothing works out for me. I can't. Not realizing your power. I mean, look at this. I want this image to be burnt into your mind. And see yourself as the horse and decide, how much longer are you willing to be tied to a plastic chair? Talking about you can't build your business, talking about you can't have the epic life that you want. You can't take the vacation with your kids that you want to. You can't grow your business internationally to scale. It's just a plastic chair. It's all here. The work that you need to do is here. Totally given up the power. I mean, imagine if we have 30,000, the equivalent of 30,000 hydrogen bombs. How much equivalent do they have? And literally, probably 100, 1,000 times our power, a plastic chair, a no good powder blue, not that just fabulous plastic chair has made this powerful, amazing creature mute, immobile, stuck, stagnated, lost powerless. Don't let that be you. So with that, if you want to get into your power, you don't want to be stuck like the horse, then I want to invite you in to our CEO intensive. Anyone in the program who's on can tell you how powerfully moving and transformative and it's just day one. So you still have time to get in, make a decision, because this is how you look at this picture of the horse. That's what you're doing with your life. Your power is just being wasted. And today you get to activate that power. So go ahead, click on the link. I would so love to welcome you into the program. We're going for 6 weeks. It's 6 weeks. It's fire. It's fire. It's fire. If you're like, okay, I get it. I get to move. I get to stop being stuck. Then come over here. Let's have this conversation. Thank you, Melody. Yes, Melody's one of our CEOs, and Melody, yeah, it was totally fire. I mean, transformation started from the word go. Like, we're not playing around in this program. This is not just another program where you go take a bunch of notes and don't do anything. You're transforming right here, right now. So go ahead and click on the link. I will see everybody back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Think about your noticing of you, your way of being. Are you like this horse, tethered, muted, lost, stuck, not going anywhere? Is that how you see yourself? Is that how you think God sees you when he calls you wonderful and fearless and fabulous and fine? You think that's how he sees you? Lost and alone by yourself, tied to some plastic chair, not moving, not activating your power? Let's get you in the CEO intensive. I love you guys so much. Yes. Thank you, my love. This is what we do. This is why I show up here every single morning, Monday through Friday, because it's my intention that everyone who's desirous of living their epic life has a person, a coach, a guide, a Sherpa who's come from that place, who's done it to guide you through. So take care, everyone. Love you guys so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.